What's up guys, my name is Ace, and welcome back to another gun guide. This is the series where I go into great detail with all of the stats as well as some excellent attachment combinations for every gun in Modern Warfare 2. And in today's episode, we're going to be moving on to the RPK. And starting it off as always, let's have a look at our damage profile, and with this gun, it's actually a very consistent 3 to 4 shot kill. And in the maximum damage range, it's a guaranteed 3-shot kill even if you shoot him in the foot. Whereas anything beyond that, you just have to make sure you're mixing in some upper torso or even just regular torso shots, and you can still maintain a decent 3-shot kill potential. As for headshots, we can actually kill in 2 shots within the maximum damage range if both bullets hit the head, which is excellent. However, beyond that, headshots are pretty much useless aside from the last damage range where mixing one single headshot will allow you to maintain a 3-shot kill when mixed with body shots. As for our rate of fire, this is 600 rounds per minute, just like the Cast-Off 7.62 assault rifle. And what this means for our time to kill potential is with a 3-shot kill, our time to kill is quite fast at 200 milliseconds. Whereas with a 4-shot kill, it's now going to drop off to 300 milliseconds. And that's honestly not a bad time to kill at all for really long ranges. It's also worth noting, if we manage to get that 2-shot kill by hitting both bullets to the head up close, our time to kill is literally 100 milliseconds, which is nearly instant. But then let's move on to our bullet velocity, which is standard for LMGs and very good at 700 meters per second. And then let's get into our ranges. And as you can see here, our maximum damage range extends out to about 34 meters. That's a great maximum damage range. You're going to get a guaranteed 3-shot kill there. And I just love the consistency we see there with this gun. And then our second damage range is just that tiny little sliver between 34 and about 37 meters. I'm not too sure why they decided to include such a small damage range. But then beyond that, our third damage range will extend out to 49 meters, which is an excellent range. And this is where we can still get a 3-shot kill potential, but you really have to be hitting your upper torso shots to maintain that 3-shot kill. And then anything beyond that will be a 4-shot kill unless you mix in a headshot. As for hipfire, no surprises here. It's just standard for an LMG. Generally speaking, you don't want to be hipfiring unless you're right up close and personal. And then let's have a look at our idle sway, and this gun's quite interesting. There is a lot of idle sway with this. It's going to be moving around quite a bit, and this will definitely affect your power at longer ranges, and therefore you may want to get this under control with an attachment or two. After that though, let's have a look at our recoil, and overall this gun's not bad in the recoil department, but there is a bit of inconsistency with it every time you shoot. Sometimes it's going to kick basically straight up for you, other times it's going to cut a little bit hard to the right, and you can't really tell when it's going to do that. Overall though, the total magnitude's not that bad, the spacing between bullets is also not bad at all, and therefore while there definitely is some inconsistency to be aware of, it's not an inaccurate gun by any means. It's not the most accurate LMG, but I wouldn't call it inaccurate either. But then let's move on to our handling stats, and our aim down sight speed is actually pretty solid for an LMG at 430 milliseconds. This is the second fastest out of the LMG category. Then our sprint out time is pretty standard for an LMG at 250 milliseconds. This is a bit on the slow side. However, our reload add time, this is the fastest in the LMG category at 3.08 seconds. And that's great, especially considering the fact we have a 75 round magazine on that. This is an excellent reload time for that, but of course it is still very slow when you compare it to something like an assault rifle or an SMG. Finally, for the base stats of this gun, let's have a look at our movement speeds. And our base movement speed's a little bit above average, but nothing too crazy there. Our sprint movement speed is basically bang on average for an LMG. And then finally, our aim walking movement speed is actually noticeably better than average for an LMG, but still quite slow, and you're probably not really going to be able to take advantage of this unless you boost this with attachments. And that right there wraps it up for the base stats of this gun, but now let's get into some attachments, and we're going to start this off with barrels and how they impact our ranges. And as you can see here, we have 3 barrels available for this. The first barrel will boost our range values by 12%. The second barrel has no impact on our ranges, and then the third barrel harms our range values by 14%. After that, let's get into how these barrels impact our recoil. And as we can see there, the first barrel does seem to help a little bit with our recoil. The second barrel, not so much at all. That looks basically the same as the base recoil pattern. And then finally, the third barrel definitely seems to increase the amount of horizontal deviation you experience, and therefore that one really could throw you off target at longer ranges. Now finally, for these barrel attachments, let's see how they impact our aim down sight speeds, and we can see there the first barrel will noticeably harm our aim down sight speed by 30 milliseconds. Honestly, that's not bad compared to a lot of the other barrels in this game though. Whereas the other 2 barrels will both improve our aim down sight speed, especially that final barrel. That one will give us about a 395 millisecond aim down sight time, which is pretty great for an LMG. Next, let's move on to the magazine attachments. We've actually got 3 unique magazines for this. We've got a 30-round mag that improves our aim down sight speed by quite a noticeable margin, a 40-round magazine that gives us a 20 millisecond boost to our aim down sight speed, and then finally we could use a 100-round drum mag, but this will slow our aim down sight time down to about 470 milliseconds. Overall, it's great to see especially these smaller magazines because that really opens up a lot of versatility with this gun. And with that, we can now move on to some excellent attachment combinations I've got for you guys with the RPK, and the first one I wanted to share is my all-around build. With this one, we're using the SA leveler muzzle. This one helps with horizontal as well as vertical recoil control. We've got the OLEV laser, the Slimline Pro optic, the ProLite TL3 stock, and then finally, and probably most importantly here, the 40-round mag. With this combination of attachments, we get a nice improvement to our aim down sight speed. It's now right around 400 milliseconds, which is an excellent aim down sight speed for an LMG. It would be a bit on the slow side for an assault rifle, but this is still a very decent aim down sight speed that allows you to get around the map at least reasonably aggressively. Our sprint out time is also slightly improved. Now it's right around where an assault rifle would typically be. Our aim walking movement speed is also improved by a very noticeable margin due to that stock. Again, this is now more along the lines of what you would see with an assault rifle rather than an LMG. And with that 40-round mag, we also get a significantly faster reload time at 1.37 seconds. This is fast even for an assault rifle. And therefore, when you combine all of this, it really handles a lot more like an assault rifle now compared to an LMG, but we're still getting the benefits of the LMG, which is it's quite accurate. You can see here the recoil is very easy to control and predict. Also with that comparison, we're firing 40 rounds in roughly the same magnitude as 30 rounds with the base version of this gun, so that's excellent. And we also get the time to kill and range benefits of using an LMG compared to an assault rifle. This is going to be killing faster and more consistently, especially at longer ranges compared to a typical assault rifle. And that's why I really like this particular build. It suits me quite well. It allows me to be at least a little bit aggressive, and I think that's great. Having said that though, some of you guys may prefer using this as more of an actual LMG. Maybe you're looking for a bit more accuracy at range as well. So the second build I'm going to share for you guys is my balanced accuracy build. Like, you could get more accurate with this if you wanted, but then you'd really be sacrificing aim down sight speed. So that's why I call it a balanced accuracy build. I tried to keep the other stats at least reasonable while gaining a great amount of accuracy. So with this time we're using the Sack and Tread muzzle combined with the Commando foregrip. I just found with my testing that those two combine really well if you're trying to maximize accuracy with this. This time we have the Ivanov wood stock. This one helps a lot with aiming stability since we're not using the OLEV laser on this one. And then finally, to help a little bit with our aim down sight and sprint out time, we've got the True Tac grip. And with this build, our aim down sight speed is noticeably slower than the base, but I'd still call it reasonable for an LMG at 490 milliseconds. Obviously, you're not going to want to rush around like crazy with a setup like this. It's more so for hanging back and picking people off. But the highlight here is our recoil. We've got very, very little recoil. This is insanely easy to control, even at extremely long ranges. And just remember how consistent this is with its 4-shot kill potential. It's a guaranteed 4-shot kill, even at extreme ranges, no matter where in the body you're hitting them. So you just have to get your shots on target, and that's very easy to do with a setup like this. And with that, that's going to wrap it up today's gun guide on the RPK. As for my thoughts on this gun, I think I'd go so far as to say that this is my favorite LMG in the game. I really like the fact that its handling is pretty decent for an LMG, so you can at least be somewhat aggressive and get around the map with it. But on top of that, you've also got an extremely consistent time to kill. Up close in that maximum damage range, you can shoot them anywhere in the body and get a 3-shot kill. And then at a distance, it's pretty straightforward. It's just a 4-shot kill anywhere in the body. And I really like that consistency. It's got a great time to kill as well. And just overall, all around, I really like this gun. I think also because we can use a smaller magazine to further improve our handling stats. Now, of course, that is just my opinion on the RPK, and I'd love to hear what you guys think about this gun in the comments down below. And if you guys have missed any of the previous episodes of Gun Guides, I've now covered almost all of the LMGs, all of the assault rifles, as well as all of the SMGs in the game. I will leave a link to the playlist in the description of the video. If you enjoyed this one, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.